Wonder is the feeling of a philosopher, and philosophy begins in wonder and nowhere else. We find this quote in Plato's dialogue Theaetetus. The Greek verb for wonder or amazement is thaumazein. We could translate this word thaumazein also as being astonished or being perplexed, rather than being awe-inspired by something sublime. The initial perplexity and even ignorance is precisely the stance we should take when we read a thinker like Plato. This initial astonishment can very much begin in everyday life, as long as what is addressed is within the scope of philosophy, thus within the scope of ethics and, for example, metaphysics. Rather than approaching Plato's dialogues dogmatically or with preconceived notions, every time we read Plato, we are invited to join in that initial astonishment that something is at all. This really is the beginning of philosophy. And this is also the stance that we will take at my Plato course, which begins in a few weeks. This initial astonishment at existence is the beginning of philosophy. Thus, wonder opens us up to the amazing world and at once demands of us to find answers to the questions this initial wonder presents us with. From here, we have to arrive at a place where we can articulate the unity of being and thought, of what is and how and what we think of it. When Hegel, more than 2000 years after Plato, writes that philosophy paints grey with grey, he means to say that philosophy, beginning in wonder, must come to such an accomplishment in self-awareness that through the various shades of grey, the contours of what is sharply and distinctly shine forth. So we cannot remain just with wonder. We have to get out of the initial wonder that something is, while in every further step we take, there is a remembrance of that initial wonder and rather astonishment, perplexity that something is at all. And you might notice that there's a slight, or actually not such a slight, but a tremendous shift in modernity when Leibniz says or asks, why is there something rather than nothing? For the Greeks, it suffices to be perplexed by what appears, by the phenomena. But to the modern mind, we search for the reason, the all-justifying cause. And that, however, is a different schism or stepping out of than the initial wonder that we find in Plato and in Aristotle. So I hope that you can join me at my upcoming Plato course. The link to enroll is in the description of this video. Thank you very much indeed.